so exciting. I remember I worked at the bank. I believe it was a Friday, and we had lost power, or I had lost power in my apartment. So my mother called and said, "Get over to your sister's." So I went over to my sister's, and we would go outside every once in a while and check to see how much snow it was. She had this big table out on her patio, and we would put a yardstick down in the snow. And here's some pictures of the snow. And we kept measuring it until it was about 16 inches of snow. And that was a lot of snow. We have never seen that much snow before.
At that time, I had two children. One was 3 and one was 8. But we went to school that morning and they predicted snow. No way. You know, never snows here. Maybe a little bit. And it started coming down, not mid-morning, really, before mid-morning. And it just came in sheets. And so we finally left school. I guess it must have been about 2:20. We were coming around Forest Hill, coming this way, because we couldn't get through Lock Choppy. It was closed by that time. So we came Forest Hill Road, and you know where Wimbish bears off? Okay, before you get there, there are a few houses. Then, nothing else but forest. Absolutely nothing. That deep ravine was not there. It was just all forest. So, and curvy. So we came around this way. I had 4 children with me, my 2 and 2 from the neighborhood. And that car, it was a old white Lincoln. Heavy building, and it just slid right into those forests. And if the forest hadn't stopped us, we would have gone on down in that great deep ravine.
It was a Friday night when the snow started on that Friday, and my roommate and I, who lived over off Gray Highway in some apartments, we had dates that night. And his date, we had to go to Jackson to pick her up. And so we got in my Volkswagen and took off up the interstate and had absolutely no trouble getting there. And we got to her and we picked her up, and it was snowing a little bit. But when we started back, the snow had begun accumulating on the interstate, and there was a line of cars and transfer trucks stopped. And we had to stop behind them. And we were sitting there, and we were sitting there, and we were sitting there. And it looked like we were going to spend the night on the interstate because nothing was moving. And then this guy came up and knocked on our window. He'd been knocking on a lot of windows, and he knocked on mine, and we rolled it down, and he said, I'm in a 4-wheel drive Jeep, and I'm about to leave this line of cars sitting here. I'm going to go up the side and pass them all and go home. He said, I live in Perry, but my Jeep will drive through all this snow. Would you like to follow me? Absolutely, we said, me and my friend and his date. And he got one other car to follow him, and that was a station wagon with a couple and 3 kids who were probably going nuts. And so we took off after him. I followed the Jeep, and that station wagon followed me, and the guy said, if you'll just let me know when we get to Macon where to get off for a motel. I said, okay, I'll just wave. So we took off. And the guy in the Jeep was going to get off 475, which meant he was going to leave us, and we had to keep on coming down 75. And so he did, and we kept coming, and the Volkswagen was just chugging along there, and the snow was coming up. You know how a Volkswagen sloped like this, and the snow started creeping up the Volkswagen hood, and it got up to where we couldn't see, and we'd have to stop and wipe off the snow and keep going. We left home that afternoon at about 5:30. Left our apartment to go pick up this girl. This whole ordeal lasted until we finally got into to where I could get off on Spring Street and go up Gray Highway to my apartment. And it was on a hill, so we couldn't go up the hill. We had to park down. We tried to go up the hill, but the car went up and just slid right back down because there was so much snow and ice. And we got back to the apartment at about 4:30 in the morning. So this was an 11-hour excursion that I just explained in about 2 minutes.